Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture.
And don't forget you can download the news as a podcast if you want to listen when you're out and about by searching for WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. But coming up today, all the fallout from last night's episode of NXT, including 2 title matches being announced.
I'm going to tell you what Vince McMahon really thinks about Lana, Bobby Lashley, and Rusev.
The real reason Cedric Alexander hasn't been featured so prominently on Raw recently.
Got news on 2 brand new AEW signings.
This is the news.
And we're going to kick things off with a little breakdown of AEW Dynamite. This is what we do every Thursday morning. We talk about both shows and the biggest news coming out of both. And the only reason we do AEW first is because, I don't like messing with the order.
No.
I go first, and then, and I haven't seen NXT. So there you go. I'm going to get spoiled as well. I am with you, the comment section. So, obviously, big spoilers to come. I'm not going to hold my hand up because it hurts like hell. I don't have the upper body strength to do that for 5 minutes or however long it's going to take. Speaking of taking a long time, I should probably talk about the news. So the biggest stories coming out of AEW Dynamite are Cody cutting an in-ring promo, basically throwing a bunch of rich stuff around, trying to get MJF to fight him. Offered him 50 grand. No sign of MJF on the show at all, though.
Bribed a small child.
Bribed a small child, gave him 100 quid. The poor child looked absolutely petrified when he gave him this thing. Like, is this a sweet? I don't know. But I guess the biggest things as far as news go are the matches that have been booked as a result of this show. So next week, we've got the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful in a street fight. That's a rematch of their pay-per-view match, of course. We've also got Cody teaming with QT Marshall to face the Butcher and the Blade. That came after Cody had said, hey, Butcher and the Blade, I want to fight you guys, and you can pick my partner. So, of course, they pick a part-time wrestler / full-time producer in QT Marshall. Good heels. But the biggest match coming out of the show is going to be Chris Jericho defending his AEW World Championship, not against Jon Moxley, not against Kenny Omega, not against Pac, not against Cody, against Jungle Boy, which
I'm weirdly into this.
Yeah, I'm totally into it. It kind of came out of left field. So it was set up through a segment in which Jericho was like, hey, the idiots at AEW have said I've got to defend my belt, but they're letting me choose who I get to face. So he reeled off the lexicon of Jericho, which had everyone he wasn't going to face. He said Jon Moxley's name about 12 times. He said Uncle Buck. He said Papa Buck. He said the Young Bucks. It was really good stuff, really funny. And having him choose his opponent makes sense as well, because that's a way to work around the win-loss records. Like, like how's Jungle Boy getting the thing when he hasn't won a match? Because Jericho picked him. Because Jericho wants what he thinks is an easy fight. So it works for that. It'll be a fun match. It's a pairing nobody expected. I'm into this.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the segment yet, but by the sounds of it, it's peak
fun.
Jericho.
It's fun.
And yeah, Jungle Boy's one of those ones that I think when we were speculating about who he should defend his world title against, who even could take the world title off him, his name was mentioned, not as someone who will take the title off Chris Jericho, but as a sort of interim, maybe not even quite to the level of Scorpio Sky, but one of those people that, like you say, you even though you know the outcome. I knew Scorpio Sky wasn't going to beat Chris Jericho recently, but when he got that pinfall and it looked like the referee was coming down for 3, I still nibbled on it. And I'll no doubt do the exact same thing on the December 18th episode of AEW Dynamite. And I think Jungle Boy has been a sensation since AEW's debut launched, and he's earned this match through his performances, even though he hasn't had that many singles matches. And I think Jericho's going to make him look $1 million.
Yeah, it's going to be great stuff. It's going to be loads of fun. This is the kind of weird, like, I don't really care about dream matches anymore. Like, I don't know, for some reason I'm just kind of burnt out on that as a concept. I like weird matches, right? Jericho versus Jungle Boy is weird. It's what I want to see.
And shout out to AEW for doing an homage to NXT, who paid tribute to one of their own wrestlers, because Nyla Rose put a referee through a table on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, and then they cut to Britt Baker in the crowd. Adam Cole's girlfriend, of course.
Excalibur. That's Adam Cole's girlfriend.
Brilliant.
It's good stuff.
Right, should we move on to NXT?
Yeah, let's do it.
Loads of stuff coming out of NXT as well last night. There is a women's championship match that was confirmed. It is going to be Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. That is also going to take place on the December 18th episode of NXT. And next week, we have a #1 contenders match to see who will face Adam Cole on the December 18th episode. It is between Keith Lee, who got a pinfall victory over Adam Cole on NXT last night and did this wonderful sort of rise up from behind Finn Balor, which is well worth checking out. He is going to be facing, Keith Lee is going to be facing Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor, and the winner of that match will face Adam Cole for the NXT Championship on December 18th. Load of stuff being planned before Christmas.
That December 18th card is basically like those top 2 matches, regardless of who Adam Cole faces. That's TakeOver caliber looking like at the moment, isn't it? It's crazy. It's great stuff.
I hope it's Keith Lee who wins.
I hope it's Keith Lee as well. I hope he wins the belt, honestly. Like, I love Adam Cole, but Keith Lee at the moment just feels like the man. He's on fire. He's got all the momentum. He feels like the hot thing in NXT. I'm really looking forward to checking out this episode. Seems like it was a lot of fun. I would have watched it, just didn't feel like waking up at 3 a.m. So, but you know, sounds like great stuff. That 18th of December card looks absolutely banging. I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, really, really exciting.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Shall we talk a little bit about Rusev, Lana, and Robert Lashley? The most controversial angle in WWE storyline in WWE today. I love it. Lots of people hate it, and I can understand why. I see both sides. You gotta see both sides of the argument. But I'll tell you one guy who does absolutely love it. Vince McMahon.
Of course.
Vince McMahon adores this storyline, according to WrestlingNews.co. One of their sources has told them that he loves everything about the program. He loved how the feud went the other night, and he will continue pushing and promoting this storyline and the segments for as long as they are doing decent numbers. So I am not surprised in the least bit by this. The storyline is very Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman has always loved stuff like this that's a little bit outside the box, a little bit edgier. What a lot of people would call regressive, but when executed well is kind of fun. But Vince McMahon loves this stuff as well. I can imagine Vince just chuckling his little ball. I assume he's got a little ball, he's quite old.
Grapefruits.
Grapefruits. They're more like raisins at the moment, probably. But yeah, just chuckling his ass off backstage, having a great time. I'm not surprised by this at all. And also, like, you know, Rusev and Lashley are 2 big, beefy boys as well. So, yeah.
Look, I realise this might not be to everyone's taste, but let's not forget that Vince McMahon was reportedly howling at Baron Corbin's little dog, big dog, mascot dog stuff in recent weeks.
Yeah, that's crap.
And this stuff is quite entertaining, to be perfectly honest. The fact that a police officer just went, yeah, we don't do stuff like that around here. I'm going to arrest you instead for slightly barging into my shoulder was very good. And as I keep saying, no matter what you think about it, it is getting Rusev arguably more over than he has ever been.
Yeah, I think like the only time Rusev has really been this popular is probably the height of Rusev Day, right? When him and Aiden English were breaking out as a tag team, and they didn't really capitalize that until a bit too late. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The acid test is always, well, does it work for me? Okay. Well, if the answer is no, that's fair enough. It's all subjective. But then you go, well, is it working for the crowd? And going by reactions, yes, it is working for the crowd, which means that, hey, it's ticking the boxes.
The only rule that doesn't apply to is Vince McMahon. Does it work for me? Yes. Yeah. Does it work for the crowd? Who cares?
I don't give a damn.
Speaking of people who Vince has a lot of sway over, let's talk a little bit about Cedric Alexander. Of course, he had that sort of mini push a few months ago that has kind of dissipated recently. It's also being reported that Cedric Alexander, this is by WrestlingNews.co, that Cedric Alexander is very well liked backstage, which is always good to hear, but that Vince McMahon, quote, cooled off on him, which explains his booking over the past few months and would make sense as to why they sort of gave him a big push, because I know Paul Heyman was a big fan of his, but it's kind of gone nowhere, and then they sort of pushed Humberto Carrillo for a bit, and that's kind of gone off. Yeah,
it's kind of these like stoppy-starty pushes that they do for mid-guys these days, mid-card guys these days. Yeah, this makes sense. Like, I didn't really buy into the idea. There was a report a few months ago that Vince McMahon deliberately buried Cedric, which I think is nonsense. This is a lot more reasonable. It's believable. Cedric had a few spots. He had that cool dive at the end of the Samoan, was it the Samoan Summit they called it, with Roman Reigns and all his guys?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Gary the Goat Garbutt.
That was not cool. He's had his ups and downs this year. I think he's a very talented guy. I think he can do really cool things between the ropes. But does he have like the character and the personality to be a bigger star? I don't know. But he is a wonderful professional wrestler. I think he could be a mid-card staple. Shame Vince has apparently cooled off on him, but that's just how it goes.
Suppose you could call him Cedric the Entertainer.
Hey, very nice, very nice. Let's move on.
Rapidly.
Last story of the day. Nice, quick, simple, easy. AEW, 2 new signings. You've seen them on TV already several times. Big Swole Ariel Monroe and Chris Statlander, who scored a massive upset victory over the #1 contender Hikaru Shida on last night's Dynamite. Good additions, makes sense. Women's division needed a couple of extra faces, needed someone like Statlander, who's just ridiculously awesome and one of the best prospects in all of wrestling at the moment. Good, good, good.
Yeah, Big Swole, fantastic signing. Chris Statlander has been a sensation over recent weeks. Everyone is talking about her. Good victory for her last night, and yeah, they seem to be strapping a rocket to her.
Big win immediately. I think she's probably going to face Rio very soon. If she keeps, I mean, it's her first singles match. She's 1-0. She's 0-2 in tags, but couple more wins under her belt, she seems like the next challenger.
Absolutely, great
Especially
signing.
with Nyla Rose feuding with Shayna, apparently. It's good stuff. It was a good night for the women's division.
All referees and tables, by the looks of things.
Rick Knox versus Nyla Rose, confirmed.
Let's move on to your Twitter questions, though. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. Sam Long starts us off today.
Legend.
Who says, are we witnessing the death of the live promo? And do you think wrestling companies are best to swap over the video hype packages with pre-filmed scenes like Jericho before Full Gear? It caused far more buzz than any in-ring promo.
Ooh, interesting one. I actually disagree a little bit there because I think the Cody promo before that Jericho match got a lot of buzz. Some people were obviously comparing it to things like Hard Times, his father's promo, which is one of the most legendary wrestling promos ever. And Jericho's in the ring every week doing magic, creating memes, creating sound bites every single week. So I'm on the contrary, actually. I think the live promo's coming back, baby. I think every week we're getting something cool on Dynamite. There's good promos on NXT. There's good promos on the main roster every single week when they're not based around dog suits. So I don't think it's dying. I think it's coming back. However, I love a well-prepared video package, put together thing as well. So, there's room for both.
And, in terms of, this isn't just AEW, across WWE, if someone is less confident on the mic, I think a sort of video package does the same job as a promo, if not better sometimes, and masks those slight issues. But like you say, people like Chris Jericho, and in particular people like MJF, need that live promo element because that is where they truly shine. Right, second question today comes from Rustin, who says, with Ciampa and Keith Lee in the NXT title #1 contenders match, what do you see next for Dijakovic? It seems like he's getting the raw end of the deal, being part of that War Games trio minus Owens.
Yeah, it's harsh for old Dominic Dijak. I always get mixed up between his old indie name and his current NXT one because they're so similar. Christopher Dijak, that's his real name. Let's go for that. Maybe a little North American title program.
I was thinking that.
I think that would make sense, wouldn't it? Him and Roddy, it's a natural extension of what's been going on. I think, yeah, that would make all the sense in the world. Or maybe he buddies up with some other fella and they face off the tag belts. But yeah, I think you'll see more from Dijakovic. He's mint. He's really good in the ring. He always has been. He's a big, beefy boy as well, and we all know they love their big, beefy boys. Yeah, looking forward to seeing more from him.
Yeah, as much as people are raving about Keith Lee, understandably, right now, the way that those two got elevated in those wars that they had, it wasn't just all Keith Lee. Dijakovic brought his own style to that, and I think really excelled in that scenario. And I think an NXT North American Championship feud with Roddy would be the ideal.
That'd be mint.
Justin Waltz gives us our final question of the day, who says, how do you guys feel about heel Dakota Kai? I think they should build her as menacing as they can, so she actually seems like a scary threat for when she faces Tegan Nox. Plus, her new entrance video was brilliant. It was. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out. It's just basically a montage of her murking Tegan Nox's
destroying Tegan Nox's knee. Yeah, I thought the turn was excellent at TakeOver. I thought it was brilliantly executed. She looked like an absolute killer. And that's something I never really thought I would say because Dakota Kai was like a really great babyface. She was really likable. She was really sympathetic. She wasn't vicious at all. But then you come and see someone like that, and it shows that these performers are so talented, they can just flip the switch. I think she's been great. The turn was awesome. There's a ready-made feud with Tegan Nox lying in wait. Obviously, when Shayna Baszler goes up to the main roster, they'll need another top-level heel, and I think she can be that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was intriguing last night that they swapped out Rhea Ripley for Mia Yim, and they just had this massive brawl. And then you have the fact that she brings down Tegan Nox's knee brace to the ring every single time she comes down. It's effectively Ciampa's crutch, but for her, and I think it works perfectly. She has been a sensation for me since turning, and that turn might be the best heel turn of the year.
Oh, I mean,
off the top of my head, recency bias included, obviously.
I'd need to sit down and have a think, but man, it would at least be in the top one.
Yes. Right, let's move on to today's and finally. And I genuinely, if you'd have told me this a couple of months ago that I'd have been including this and saying this is the best thing in wrestling right now, I would have told you were a liar. How have the Dark Order become the best thing in wrestling? Because not only have they had some fantastic little promo packages on AEW, another one on last night's Dynamite, of course. Now, Eva Luno on Twitter is doing personalised messages to people who are tweeting #JoinDarkOrder. Case in point, this one, Jason Newlin on Twitter has tweeted, "It has begun, there is no turning back." And so Evil Uno posted this.
Jason, we have found you. Thank you for joining Dark Order. Await your instructions. They will be coming.
Wow. So I'm proud to announce myself and Andy Murray as the latest participants in joining the Dark Order.
I mean, Jules is already in it. He's in those segments every week.
Yes.
Grayson, is it? Aye, okay. No, the Dark Order stuff's really good. Like, I love the kind of extended universe stuff they're doing as well. Stuff like this, the website, the hashtag, all of this stuff. It's just really good, and it shows that you can turn around a failing act with like just a bit of invention, a bit of creativity. You get stuff like this. I want a promo from Evil Uno, so I'm going to go and tweet him now.
Congratulations to Evil Uno and the Dark Order, and it's a pleasure to be part of the new Dark Order.
Hail the Dark Order.
Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dudley Boys will be doing the Wednesday Night War review later. I'll be trying to keep Michael Hamflett and Michael Cedric from punching each other, basically.
They used to be best friends.
I know.
Wrestling.
And also let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And you can send us your Twitter questions there, of course. You can follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for omnivorous. You know what that means, mate?
No.
I eat humans.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. But for now, my thanks for Andy. Thanks from you. And we'll see you soon.
Just a little taste.